Rangers is okay. I would love Knutson from Bodo Glimt, but I don't know how probable that is with him being in the European semi-finals. I reckon loads of teams across the continent would be looking at him. He would be a good appointment for anyone, it would look like, but who knows? Fraser, I know we talk about Scottish football, but I wanted to pick your brains on Ange Postecoglou.
That's a good segue. Good segue. No, that's because this is a guy Knudsen has his own philosophy, and it's very specific, and it's he's designed it himself.
He's been there a while, hasn't he?
But this is what I'm interested in. Ange Postecoglou. We all know what Ange Postecoglou's style looks like, and has he been able to implement that? Has it worked for him down south? Are there certain environments in which a manager with a really clearly defined strategy and playing style where it works in some places and can't work in other places? Because I think Ange Postecoglou, his first 6 months, brilliant to watch. Spurs were flying.
The Spurs fans, we've got a Spurs back and all that.
It was basically Celtic in a Spurs strip, except with a higher level of player individual within the system that we all became so familiar with when he was up here. I look at Spurs now, they're not even a pale imitation of that. I don't think the players are playing for him. And I wonder about that. It makes me wonder about a guy like Knutson, for example. Has Ange Postecoglou arrived in the Premier League 10 years too late? 10 years ago, would he have been able to take these players with them? And he is an authoritarian, and he does start put his foot down and state very clearly what's expected, what the demands are. I think there are a bunch of players in now. When I look at Spurs, I see a group of players that have chucked it, no interest in playing for him.
I agree.
And so, can you be that abrasive these days? I listened to something with Joe Hart on the radio last night saying, things have changed from 25 years ago. If players, have issues with childcare and such matters, they have to go and raise it with the manager. And wait a minute, much am I paying you, mate?
I was going to say, is that not why you get paid 50, 60, 100 grand a week?
So, sorry, Fraz, I've went off in one there, but that was that's what I was wondering about, and I knew that you were going to bring that up with Fraser.
Oh, this is off the back, Fraser, of the fact that the Telegraph have put a story out today saying that whether he wins the Europa League or not, Ange is on his way out at Tottenham. 18 league defeats from 33 games, which in anyone's book is a crazy ratio. But are you surprised it's not worked out, Fraser, from down south, or?
Well, look, first and foremost, they're sitting below Manchester United in the Premier League, which says everything, doesn't it? They've just had a disastrous season. Is it 5 defeats for the last 7 now that they can in 3?
They've chucked it. They've totally chucked it.
Well, that's an indictment of players, if nothing else is.
That's what I think.
Yeah, but Ange Postecoglou was always criticised for sticking to his principles, only having one way of playing. I do feel that will always find you out in the English Premier League. Especially, he did suffer a chronic injury problem kind of just after the start of the season, didn't he? Maybe the second quarter of the season. You've got to find a way to just knuckle down and be hard to beat. But that's not in his DNA. It's not in his team's DNA. So I think they've paid the price for that. Some of the games earlier in the season where they were in the right good position, but then couldn't see it out just simply because of the way they kept attacking. I don't know. I think kind of the breakdown between him and the fans is irreparable, I would say, even if they do go on and win the Europa League. And to be fair, although I think Bilbao are rightly still favourites to go on and win it, it's a pretty poor semi-final lineup, isn't it? How do you get Manchester United and Spurs with the season they're having in the last 4 of a European competition? It's just, it's not a good look for that tournament at all. It's really poor. Fair play to Bodo Glimt. I mean, Knutson beat Postecoglou, didn't he?
Oh, did I? Was when he was at Bodo Glimt played Celtic.
That was a team, wasn't it? That was and they've continually come up with these incredible results. I mean, Jose Mourinho is down to Jose Mourinho. To get to the semi-final now, fair play to them. So I think he was also linked. He's been linked with a few jobs that have been going in Scotland down the years, hasn't he? But he seems to be in with the bricks.
But how Spursy is this? That this is a club that cannot win silverware. They've brought in every outrageously priced manager from across Europe. All the big hitters they've had. They can't win a thing. They can't get near silverware. Ange Postecoglou could just end all that, put a big trophy right in the cabinet, and then get sacked the next day.
It's something like 1 trophy in 50 years or something.
It defies But do you know something? It probably fits in with the general chaos around Spurs and Postecoglou.
Aye.
That's probably the way this story ends. That Ange Postecoglou ends this trophy drought, gets one of the most sought-after pieces of silverware anywhere in Europe, puts it on the table, and then see you later, mate.
John points out
Incredible. I
Spurs.
think it might happen as well, Keith. Well,
I think so.
Aye.
I think that might be exactly how it pans out. Where would they go then? Where would they go then? What would be the next stop for Ange Postecoglou?
Rangers are looking for a new manager, aren't they? That'd be good.
But this is the thing, Fraser. I'm looking at it going, because people will say he'll get another crack at a decent level Premier League club. I'm not sure, because if we all know what football's like, we all know that people talk. If it's starting to come out from behind the scenes at Spurs that the players just can't have him, not having him, won't play for him, and you know something, and I'm going to throw this one into the mix. I wonder if, Fraser referred to the amount of injuries that Spurs had. I think if you look back at Celtic, the amount of hamstring injuries that Celtic players had was quite incredible. I think it's all to do with the way that he trains them and plays them.
Style of play.
And I don't think your young generation of Premier League football players who've already got all the trappings and the Gucci Man bags and the Ferraris and Lamborghinis, do they really want? He's just done me in again. I've just pulled my hamstring. I'll be another 5 months out now because of this guy.
Aye.
And I wonder if a little bit of that has helped to feed into the whole narrative, which has become absolutely toxic. And I think you only usually arrive at a place like that when the dressing room has gone and the players just aren't having him and won't respond to him.
No, it looked like that last night against Forest.
I've seen it now for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've been watching Spurs when I can. They're nowhere. They're not even a shadow, a pale imitation of the Ange Postecoglou sides that we've come accustomed to, and they're just not doing all the Ange Postecoglou things anymore. They don't look, but they've got Bodo Glimt to get past, and they're in a European final.
They've still got some good players.
Yeah, there's a chance they could be playing Manchester United in that final. This Manchester United,
who they've beat home and away this season.
Yeah,
Aye.
and in that one-off game environment with the trophies on the line. I can see it developing. You can just see sometimes football's got its own storylines that are almost too difficult to make up, but you feel that this is moving towards what destiny looks like for Ange Postecoglou and Spurs. A trophy and a divorce.
Gianni says in the comments, Ange, if he wins the Europa League, then his post-match press conference, just do a mic drop and leave. Nobody else at Spurs will eclipse it. Aye, I think that would be a great way to end his tenure in North London, and a great way for us to end today's show, guys.